You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Witches of East End After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Witches of East End After Show.
Hello, Witches of East End fans. Hi, I love this song.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the Witches of East End AfterBuzz TV After Show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. With me is a lovely panel of lovely ladies. We have Sam Davidson. You're not going to say anything?
Sam Davidson here, right away.
Awesome. And Candy Buenrostro.
Hello.
And we are jumping into Boogie Nights. We're like halfway through season 2.
So good.
I'm so excited that one of the biggest reveals happened this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I've been waiting for. It happened. And we will get to it. Let's start with Dash. Dr. Gardner.
Dr. Dash.
Dr. Gardner. So cute. So he has this adorable little patient who he's really good with kids.
Yeah, and they cast the most adorable boy for that ever. It broke my heart. I was like, Dash, die. I don't care.
Yeah, seriously. But the little boy has cancer, and he's going to surgery, and he comes out and he's fine, and then all of a sudden he dies. Mm-hmm. And Dash can't handle it, so he accidentally... little spells.
Doesn't remember what he said at all.
I just said stuff in Latin. Because you just happen to
You
know
can't
how to
just
say that.
stuff in Latin.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And the boy wakes up. I don't want to be nitpicky, but I'm going to point it out because I hope somebody else does too. The actor who played the little boy, adorable. When he was dead, his eyes were, I don't know if did you see it?
No.
Oh, his eyelashes were fluttering. And I was like, oh.
Well, maybe that happens. Though.
After you die, it takes a while for your organs to shut down.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
true.
still twitch and stuff after you die.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure. Let's let him have that. Anyway, adorable little boy comes back to life. And then Ingrid comes in to see Dr. Gardner.
Not Dash.
Not Dash. Just Dr. Gardner. And he runs some tests, and she notices his fingers are blue. And then she explains that you can't just take death away from someone, that everything has to balance. And she reminds us that she saved Wendy, which was unnecessary, and that her love from season 1
Who's
died.
now on Mistresses, who's been on Mistresses.
Yes.
Yeah. That's always how I just think of him the same way, but...
So he plays Alyssa Milano's love interest.
Yeah,
Oh.
he does.
Yeah.
Is he as sweet as he was on Witches, or is he a
No.
bad guy?
He's not a bad guy. He's just a man. Sorry.
Just a man.
Yeah, he cheats on
With
her.
urges.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not as sweet as he was on this show.
Oh, well, I miss him on this show. But we learn this whole, balance of death and life. And it's a really interesting concept because we know from other witch shows, from other witch movies, from The Craft, you learn that everything comes back threefolds. Mm-hmm. And from this show, we learn that if you take death away from someone, it has to go somewhere else. Yeah. What I really have been thinking a lot about this, and it seems that the balance of life and death in this show is just if you remove death. Because they murdered someone at the beginning of this episode the beginning of the season, using magic, and there's no balance to that.
Yeah, no, murder is free range, just not bringing someone back, apparently.
Yeah. Do you have something you want to add?
I mean, I feel like it kind of contradicts itself because it's like you can't, it's the balances, but yet you can use magic to kill somebody, even though that guy was a bad guy.
Right, he was blackmailing him. Yeah, no, it's not a balance. It's you just can't take death away from someone, which we know also from practical magic.
True.
Because what comes back is not who you think.
No.
Sorry. I think we should just try to reference
that
as
movie.
many witches we can in the show.
I think I watch that movie like 4 times a year,
Yeah.
once a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to.
What's the one with Sarah Jessica Parker and Bette Midler?
Oh, Hocus Pocus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Classic. So we learn about this balance of life and death, and in the end, Dash figures out the way to solve this problem, because as soon as he goes to like kill the kid, the mom is like, oh, I couldn't imagine my life without him, and you didn't give up on him, and he's so great, and this child's going to be amazing. That child better grow up to cure cancer. Like, that's the pressure that's on him now.
He got a second chance, but now I like to call Dash Dexter Dash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he got to choose who
He
lives
chooses
and
who
who
does.
dies.
It's like he can take the sickness away from good people and then just give it to bad people and kill them.
Yeah, so we see this robber who
Killed somebody.
comes into the ER, and he's going to be just fine. And Dash's like, I can't have that. And I totally thought it wasn't going to work.
You thought it was going to backfire?
I thought he was going to try to do it, and it wasn't going to happen. That the death had to be returned to the child.
I knew.
You knew?
Mm-hmm. Those blue hands needed to go away. I knew. I saw the blue hands turning white again. I was very excited about it. I was like, yes. This show, I love it, but sometimes it's very simple.
But why didn't he tell Ingrid that he did that? Was he...
Well, because she would totally not
she'd
approve.
be not happy about it.
Which is weird, because she helped him cover a murder.
Yes.
Ingrid's a hypocrite.
Well, and her alter ego is also, like, super evil in every life.
Yeah.
She tries to be so nice and kind and benevolent, but then when she turned into something else, it's always not good.
Interesting. Yeah, Ingrid's a conundrum. I think
She
that's
doesn't
what I'm
mean
looking for.
to.
Yeah, and I can't wait to learn more about her. And we'll get into her storyline and where we end up in this episode in a bit. But I want to talk about Freya. Freya is using magic to remember her past lives. And it seems that every time she goes back, Killian is there. And she points out something so interesting, and it answers so many questions for me, that Killian and Dash have lived all these lives, and that they're not necessarily always brothers, and then they're not the same people, unlike her and unlike Freya and Ingrid. And so that in itself was like, oh, great information.
But could that be part of the spell, though? That her and Ingrid are always meant to be sisters? Mm-hmm. Where perhaps if the spell wasn't there, like, they could not be sisters?
But they would continue to live lives? Like, that's what's weird, though, is why is it that Dash and Killian also
keep
continue to
living
live lives?
Yeah. Well, it makes me so interested in their story. Like, why is it just all people, all witches just die and are reborn? Or is that everybody?
Well, so we know that they die and are reborn because that was Joanna's curse.
But Dash and Killian, we didn't know that happened to other people necessarily until this episode.
Or it could be that they're reincarnated.
It could just be that they just have past lives.
But they always look the same.
Yeah.
Because they're hot.
Because also, no one's going to argue, but because Killian is her soulmate, and Dash is always there to ruin it.
It's true.
Poor guy.
So we're in her past life, and let's talk about those dance moves and that red dress.
Thank you, Step Up. Here we go.
Yes.
Nice throwback. I wish Channing was in this episode. Channing, are you listening?
That would have been awesome.
So as soon as this episode starts and we see her dancing, I was like, oh, yeah, she's a dancer. Like, I completely forgot.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, you had a baby? Oh, my God, you had a baby like a year ago?
Yeah.
You look amazing.
Oh, that body. Ugh.
It doesn't, and if anything, it looks better. Mm-hmm. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, because she's got post-baby boobs.
Yeah.
Those
Her
are
boobs
always
did
great.
grow since she had a baby.
That little steamy bathroom scene was awesome also.
Well, it was very reminiscent of the first episode when they hooked up in the bathroom.
Yeah. She just likes to hook up in a bathroom.
Yeah. She's amazing.
No one's going to complain about hooking up in bathrooms, guys. It was pretty clean for a club bathroom.
Yeah. Public bathroom specifically.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. Sorry, I'm all distracted now. So we see that Killian is there. He's the bartender, Bobby. And Dash is also there. And Dash in this past life in the 70s happens to not only pretty much be Scarface, he even has a scar, but he also has a porn stash.
Oh, super douchey 70s porn stash.
I thought he pulled it off.
I disagree.
No, I didn't.
No, he looked so gross.
He did look gross, but he's supposed to look gross. I'm glad he looked gross. I think it's hard for that man to look gross.
Turns
I
out
don't
it's
think he
not.
looked gross. He just looked a little douchey.
Yeah.
I think both. I think he looked both gross and douchey. I was so turned off by him, which is funny because in present time, I was like, oh, I never really noticed how good looking he is. I guess you have to compare it. For me, at least, you had to put it next to gross dash to make, like,
Grash.
I'm not saying that Eric Winters is not attractive. I'm just saying he wasn't as attractive as Daniel, who played Daniel Di Tommaso.
In the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Although he also had stupid sideburns.
I think the 70s were a bad time for men.
I didn't like Killian's little deep V little shirt.
Oh, I love that they both had deep
Or his
Vs.
big sideburns.
Yeah, gross.
No.
Oh, the 70s. So we see that apparently it's going to go on and on between them forever. And eventually when we meet Alex, and we'll get to who she is, we find out that they're star-crossed and that they're meant to find each other, but the only way the cycle will end is if Freya doesn't try to be with him, which we will get to Alex and all of that. And then when after she learns this, she decides she's going to leave Dan because Dan is making her use her magic to make magic cocaine.
Yes. She is always a cook.
Yeah.
In some way, or so she makes drinks, she makes coke. Same thing.
Same
Different
thing, yeah.
life.
She's a drug dealer. But it's also, what was weird is that, so we see in the past life that she kind of has an addiction to the coke. Maybe it's because it's magic. Maybe it's because it's coke. But that earlier in this episode, Ingrid has a conversation with her and is like, you're getting addicted to this memory stuff.
Well, it's pretty much acid. It looks like acid. She's dropping it on her tongue.
And she's falling asleep.
And and then she hallucinates a past life. Like now,
But she's not hallucinating. It's a memory.
Yeah, a bunch of people that take acid could just say that. It's a memory.
It's magic. It's magic acid.
Okay. Okay.
Do we think, I just am wondering if we think that addiction or something like that might become a plot point or
For
is,
Freya.
yeah. What do we think?
Yes. Sadly.
That's it? Just
I don't
yes?
think so.
Really?
No, I think it was the 70s, and it was the magic coke.
Well, then I tried to look at old episodes and be like, how much is she drinking? Because this time she makes drinks in this life. So, and I was like, you know what? She does like to drink. And
She works in a bar.
yeah, exactly. So there's excuses.
So do you think that they're going to eventually be like, hey, Freya has addiction issues?
Yeah, but I think that's just who she is.
Addicted to trying to find
She's
her
just has an
soulmate.
Yeah.
addictive personality, probably.
Addicted to Killian.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when she wakes up from her memories after Dan kills Bobby, which is Dash in the past and Killian in the past, and she realizes that she somehow comes to this decision that she doesn't need to be with him. She's happy that he's happy with Ava. And then we see Ava is putting magic potions into drinks for Killian.
Ava is roofying Killian.
What
and it is
is
not
it?
cool.
That is a good question. What do you think it is?
Is it? I think it's maybe keeping him aloof to like his feelings for Freya, so he just sees her as his. Oh,
Yeah.
you're my soulmate.
Because I would really like to see the other past lives with them. Because I feel like he's probably very magnetized to her. And it's hard to break. Maybe like extremely, it takes lifetimes to break this if it's ever possible.
Yeah.
So perhaps she knows that and has maybe seen them in past lives. I don't know. And I'm not really sure why she's doing what she's doing, but she's definitely doing something.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. I think that it's very much her way of keeping him with her. And I think what's also interesting is that we still don't know what her intentions are. We don't know if she knows the family, because I think the only one who would know that would be Joanna or Wendy, and she hasn't seen them. And I'm really excited to see what she can actually do.
Me too. Here's my big question, though. So,
Yeah.
Joanna and Wendy, like, they've met Dash. They've met Killian. Both of them. They didn't seem as though they recognized either of them.
Well, so when we see the past life, this time, Freya comes over and says, I've met this guy.
Right.
But they never meet him.
Right, but I mean, that was one past life out of many. Because, I mean, they showed them from way long before that. And they said in every single life, she meets Killian and falls in love with him.
It's very likely that what that would mean, I'm speculating, that they know she falls in love easily. Because she was also, when she comes home and says, I've met this guy and I'm in love, we're going to get married and have babies, whatever. And she says, I really love this guy. And I mean it this time. Like, not like last time, which is referring to Dan. So it seems that she falls in love easy, and they don't know. I mean, they don't meet every guy she dates because she falls in love so quickly that maybe they've just never met the same person over and over again.
They've just heard about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like after that many centuries of living, I don't know. And then I'm assuming that Freya in that life, she died soon after in the 70s.
Yeah.
Coke overdose.
So,
Or
or
abusive
yeah.
boyfriend.
So I would feel like they would want to know who that guy was that was shot. I mean, I know it's not like now we have the internet and things are way easier to figure out. But for me, I'm just like, after centuries, like, do you really not know who, like, your daughter's loves are that continuously happen? Because...
But I think they don't put together that it's the same person. I think every life she keeps falling in love with people, and they just are like, all right, it's another one. Like, after so many boyfriends, you don't care anymore.
I guess so.
Especially because it doesn't seem to ever work out.
Right.
So that's my personal perspective.
My question, bringing it back to Killian's wife, Eva, why she's always around? He's never alone.
She's creepy.
Yeah.
Because she is afraid of Freya for some reason. She's threatened by her because they're supposed to be together.
Sure.
I want to know if she is in the past, if she is the reason they can't be together. That's what I want to know.
That would be good.
Yeah. Before we continue, I want to take a second to talk about iTunes. Guys, listening to this podcast and watching us, thank you. You may not know this, but we are clearly huge fans of this show and of witches in general, as we like to bring in Hocus Pocus, Practical Magic, The Craft, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Bewitched, all of it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. What we ask of you as fans is to please rate and review us on iTunes. If you like our show, give us a 5-star rating. If you don't like our show, give us a 4-star rating. And be sure to leave comments letting us know what we can be doing better, what we're doing well, if we're spending too much time referencing other witches, which we are not. Please let us know. Leave it in the comments and discuss with us on YouTube. I know that I will go and converse with people for hours on end on the YouTubes, so please comment. Let's get back to the show. Let's move on to, real quick, Frederick and Wendy, while Joanna and Alex are off doing things, and we'll get to Alex in a second. Frederick has a seizure, but first, like, his brand starts to glow and his eyes become white, and at that point I was like, he's being possessed. But then he has a seizure. Yeah, it looked like he was going to be possessed. And I was so disappointed that he wasn't. He's having a seizure. Wendy saves him, and we discover that he's been having seizures, but we're not going to tell Joanna.
Why is that? Why wouldn't he want his mom to know so she could help him?
No one tells her anything.
Yeah.
It's so not cool.
Yeah, Ingrid didn't tell her that that the sleepwalking is continuing and that she's getting injured. It's so frustrating.
It is, because she could fix it.
Yeah. Also, she seems to be the one who knows the most.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, guys. Knowledge is power.
It's like, Ingrid, what, you're going to go to Dash? He's just found he's a warlock. Like, really, what's he going to do?
Dash might be a doctor, but, like, he really does not know that much.
I mean, look at his hands. They're blue.
She keeps having to save him.
Yeah. Every time she goes over there for something she needs, she has to save him first.
But I am liking this chemistry between them.
Yeah.
Save that for predictions.
Yeah. So this Frederick Wendy thing, do you think that Wendy trusts him more now, or trusts him less, or it doesn't change anything?
I think it's he's wearing her down a little by little. Her guard's not so up as it was in like the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
But maybe he is so smart that he does the seizures on purpose so she'll see them and feel bad for him. I don't know. When I first started this show, I very much trusted Frederick.
Why?
I don't know. You asked me that same question. And now...
I trust him also.
Well, I've changed my tune now.
Good. What is wrong with you? Okay, so we don't trust him.
No.
Well, I'll tell you this much. When I got to interview the cast at Comic-Con, people, check out those interviews online.
How was that?
It was amazing, and they were so sweet. And I asked them if they trust Frederick. And both Jenna and Rachel, who play Freya and Ingrid, and Machen, who plays Wendy, they were all like, we don't know yet. So they're still filming, and they don't know if they trust him. So that tells us we shouldn't trust him. Or that, it's not going to be revealed anytime soon.
Yeah. Or he's going to die at the end of the season and they just don't want to say anything.
You never know.
Oh. Whoa, crazy.
Sorry.
That's a weird prediction. Well, let's get to the biggest story of the episode. Let's get to Joanna. So she's mourning Victor's death, which I personally am still very much mourning. I loved him.
Well, we barely got to know him.
Yeah, but I really like that actor.
I loved his character as well. I was super bummed. I wanted to see him interact with his girls, and he didn't even get a chance to.
So sad. So she mourns him, and she finds a scale of the Mandragora, which we've only recently... This is the first episode where they named it. Luckily, we knew.
Called it.
Yeah, we knew. And we find out from Frederick that the king has started training the Mandragoras to be his army, and they can't be killed, and they're vicious, and that this one clearly came through the portal to hurt Frederick. At this point, did you believe him?
Yeah, I think he seems scared.
I believe him.
All right. So we're all believing him. And we find out that Joanna's like, no, I know someone who's killed the Mandragora before.
My ex-GF.
Yeah. We'll get there.
So excited.
So, of course, they have to travel to New York City. That was New York City, right?
I think so.
Or was it? It was supposed to be New York City. Okay. So they're there. And Joanna stops in front of, or like walks in front of a car, and it stops.
Is that the only way she'll talk to her by the waves? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
If she goes in front of a car, because otherwise she would never see her.
I love it. I think that's a great way to get someone's attention.
Don't try it at home, kids.
Yeah, no, do not try that at home. And we meet Alex, who, for anyone who's like me and watches a lot of Special Victims Unit, that was Jeffries in season 1. She gets kicked out of the unit after season 1.
She was also on Gossip Girl.
I believe it.
Yeah, she's been around.
She has been around.
Yep.
Yeah.
For centuries.
Joanna.
For centuries.
And she's Joanna's scorned ex-lover.
Yeah. So Alex apparently has hunted and killed the Mandragora before, and it turns out that I think so. When Freya comes to the house to tell her mother that she's in love, and we see Alex is there, and Joanna says, "Oh, this is my friend Alex." At that moment, I was like, lovers.
We're about to have fondue.
Did anybody else catch that?
I got that.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I was like, oh my God, I'm projecting. Like, this isn't really happening. And then when we finally get to go out, they do this amazing potion spell thing with the bowl. And then when the bowl breaks, I expected like the bowl to like crack. It like exploded. Goo went everywhere. It was weird. And Joanna and Alex go into the woods because now they can track the Mandragora. And we're told that the Mandragora has to feed on sex. So it's kind of like a succubus for anybody who watches Lost Girl. And that it has a mate. It has one mate, and that if you kill the mate, you'll kill the Mandragora, or vice versa. And so they go into the woods, and they follow the trail. And right before we see the Mandragora, we find out that Ingrid is the mate.
I knew she was.
Yeah, as
What,
we
we
suspected.
knew.
Yeah, we knew. Poor girl. Gross.
I, at this moment, did not think that they would figure it out, that Ingrid was the mate. I, for whatever reason, thought that that we would not get that. They would not know that this episode, and I thought they were going to just continue to drag it out. And
I'm
I was
glad they didn't.
Yeah, no,
She found
I was
her
so
her
happy.
shoe, right?
Yeah, it was this little like weird, creepy shoe, and then all of a sudden she's like, "It's Ingrid."
Well, I mean, I think also there was a book bag and some books. I think that every time Ingrid has sleptwalked has walked in her sleep over to the forest to feed the Mandragora. She's been doing stuff and living her life.
So she's like reading on the way?
No. I mean, like, she's living her life. She's coming home from work at the library, and the Mandragora calls her, and she just walks over. So let's say she has her bag. So she leaves it there.
Isn't she wondering where her books are?
I think she's more concerned with how she got to the woods, why her clothes are torn, and why she's covered in scratch marks.
Yeah.
I know. I suppose I would be more concerned about that, but I would also want my books back.
I would also wonder, and I'm going to say something, and it might be gross, but I'm going to ask it. Doesn't one know once they've had intimate time?
Perhaps when it's in a magical way. You can't,
maybe it's a magical,
like,
you can't
feel it the same.
Yeah.
Ladies, when you wake up in the morning...
I've never had sex with a Mandragora.
Yes,
so
never had sex
I don't
with a
know
Mandragora,
how
so
it feels.
Couldn't tell you.
It probably feels weird. And
I feel like you know these things when you wake up. Anyway, okay, fine. Let's say, fine. I'll allow it. They shoot the Mandragora. And of course, once Joanna figures out that it's Ingrid's, the mate, they miss and they shoot in the arm. And at this point, Ingrid has she has fed the Mandragora and returned to Dash's because she wants him to watch her sleep.
like, can't she have another member of her family watch her sleep instead of her sister's ex-fiance?
I know! It's really weird, and he asks why she's not going to tell her family. And she's like, no, like, I don't want to worry
You're
them.
a doctor. You know nothing. Like,
yeah,
basically.
That's exactly what she says. And so she wakes up screaming and her arm is bleeding. And he's like, has this ever happened before? She's like, no. And so they decide that they should probably tell Joanna. Oh, yeah, that would have been a good idea.
Mm-hmm. And then the Mandragora shows up.
Well, Ingrid gets taken over by the Mandragora. And I thought she was just going to get up and walk out. And I was like, great, he's going to see it. But no, she starts fighting with Dash, and the Mandragora appears. If they were tracking it and it could just, like, appear and disappear, that would be more difficult than what they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then they attack Dash with all of his tentacles, and I think... Do you think, so earlier we had learned from Alex that the Mandragora kills its prey by sticking its tentacles into your brain and giving you some sort of neurotoxin? Do you think that that's what's happening, or do you think they're just attacking him?
Well,
I don't think they're going to kill Dash.
No, but also they said that that's poisonous. I think that's very bad, but we've seen it just kill, not put the tentacles in its orifices. And
We've seen it kill?
yeah, haven't that guy, wasn't it a couple episodes ago?
Dr. Foster?
Yeah, well, Dr. Foster, and it was through, but he finished the job. That's the thing. We knew. I feel like what he did to Dash is not
What the Mandragora did to Dash.
Yes, what the Mandragora did to Dash. It can poison him, I think, maybe over time, but I don't think that's the way it kills. Kills. I don't know.
I mean, I am not yet sold on the Mandragora being the one who killed Dr. Foster. I still believe that it may have been Frederick, because I don't trust him. But also, I'm just excited to find out what it is that the Mandragora did to Dash. And
made him even crazier.
Yeah, because that's what he needs.
Yeah.
And then we, of course, see that Joanna and Alex have tracked the Mandragora back to Dash's place because they know that that's where Ingrid is. And it seems that they come in just in time, and the Mandragora has Ingrid, and they disappear.
Into the smoke.
Into the
black smoke.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Lost again. I'm like, where? Where's
I thought it was kind of a Nightcrawler kind of move, but that's because I like X-Men. I think, is there anything that we've left out on this?
Let's see.
Predictions, maybe?
Yeah.
I think it is time for predictions. Ooh.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, ladies. Let's start with you, Candy. What do you think?
Okay, let's see. I think, well, I don't like Killian's wife, Ava.
It's pronounced
Ava.
Ava, but it's spelled Eva.
Obviously, she's evil. I'm hoping Freya's going to find out, put two and two together, go into another life, and see that she's the one keeping them apart, and maybe kill her, and this lifetime they can be together.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking. And I think Ingrid and Dash, they're going to have a little romantic affair in the future after we take care of this whole Mandragora thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ingrid and the Mandragora are going to fall in love and get married.
What? Get out! You're about to lose your predictions privileges.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I think that Ingrid and Dash will for sure have some guilty times together, and then
Some guilty times.
they're gonna feel bad about it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, guilty times. And I think that Joanna is going to become more powerful again, is what I really hope. Wendy's going to be Wendy. I missed her this episode. I feel like we didn't get a lot of Wendy. However, I did feel like Wendy and Freya looked I realized they look very much alike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that in this episode. But I think Killian and Freya will for sure rekindle their forbidden romance. Yeah.
I like all of those. I think the Dash and Ingrid thing is gonna happen. And I know from Comic-Con that Wendy and Tommy are gonna have some fun times together.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm still hoping that Bug Boy comes back, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Prinze.
Yeah. I also think that Alex, I really am actually just hoping that Alex sticks around for the rest of the season, and I hope that their romance is revealed, because I think that's going to be a really fun discussion to have with the girls.
Yes.
I think that's it. On that note, Candice, why don't you tell us where the people can find you?
Well, the lovely people can find me on Instagram and Twitter, CandieBuen, CandieBuen.
Awesome.
And for me, you can find me on Twitter at SamD43 and on Instagram at SamDavidson87.
Awesome. And you can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you will find information about the beautiful stylings from Siren's Boudoir, as well as interviews with the cast of Witches of East End from Comic-Con. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And we will see you next time for more Witches of East End.
Oh, yes, and my lovely jewelers from tags.com. If you put an AfterBuzz TV, you get a little 20% discount, y'all.
Yeah.
Nice. Use it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.